Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is August 12, 2023, and Barcelona have began registering their pending players. Also, it's reported that Joao Cancelo is very close to coming to Barcelona, and unless some big surprise happens, he will become a Blaugrana. And finally, the club are very confident that Lenglet will be sealing his exit to Tottenham Hotspurs pretty soon. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, I would just like to remind you to please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. It only takes a second, and in doing this, you will be helping this small and humble channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bet, especially in that La Liga has already began, make sure you hit the Bet Us. Both links are down below in the description. Now I'll begin with the news that the Ousmane Dembele saga is officially over, as both Barcelona and PSG have finalized the transfer of the French player. Now, as I reported previously, Ousmane Dembele activated a private clause in his contract by sending a letter to Barcelona informing them of his intent to leave the club and joining PSG this summer transfer market. And this private clause allowed Dembele to leave to PSG if PSG paid 50 million euros. Now, there was a dispute about how this 50 million euros should be split between Barcelona and Dembele, with Barcelona insisting that they should get a bigger percentage of the private clause, and with Dembele insisting that he should get half of that private clause because his release clause, his original release clause that was not activated on time, stipulated that Dembele would get 25 million euros, with Barcelona getting the other 25 million euros. Now, this dispute prolonged the transfer of Dembele to PSG, and as I reported in yesterday's video, PSG gave Barcelona a 24-hour deadline to finalize the transfer of the French player, and if not, the PSG were gonna back away from the entire deal. Now, it seems that Barcelona were able to finalize the negotiations on time, and Dembele has officially joined PSG, and it's reported that Barcelona have been able to negotiate 35 million euros out of this private clause, so Barcelona will get 35 million euros, with Dembele getting the other 15 million euros. Now, I'm very glad that Barcelona took a strong stance and they dug their heels in the ground, not allowing Dembele to take half of the release clause, because enough is enough, because Dembele has made a mockery out of Barcelona the past 6 years. And I'm glad that the club have been able to get 35 million euros out of this transfer, because as you might recall, Dembele was set to leave the club last summer for free. And had he stayed for another season, he would also left for free next summer. So 35 million euros might not be as good as the 120 million euros that Barcelona paid for the French player, but at least it's not 0 euros, which would have been the case last summer or even the upcoming summer. Now, with the departure of Ousmane Dembele, he is clearing around 26 million euros of Barcelona's wage bill, and of course also the departure of Frankesi, plus the activation of the new economic lever. All of these will allow Barcelona to start registering the contracts of their pending players, because as I reported previously, Barcelona only had 11 players registered ahead of the start of La Liga. But Barcelona have already got to work and have started registering the contracts of the pending players. And so far, Barcelona have registered a total of 16 players. Now, the main priority for Barcelona was to register the contract of İlkay Gündoğan, because as I reported previously, the German player did have a release clause in his contract that stated that if he wasn't registered by August 13th, he would be allowed to leave as a free agent and join any club of his choosing. So Barcelona have definitely registered the contract of the German midfielder along other 15 players. And so far on La Liga's website, these are the current players that Barcelona have registered: Marc Ter Stegen, Ronald Araujo, Andreas Christensen, Sergi Roberto, Jules Koundé, Eric Garcia, Gavi, Ferran Torres, Pedri, Oriol Romeo, Frankie de Jong, İlkay Gündoğan, Robert Lewandowski, Ansu Fati, Rafinha, and Abde. Now, as I reported previously, Rafinha has vacated his number 22 jersey, taking up the number 11, and Ferran Torres has taken up the number 7 jersey, vacated by Ousmane Dembele. And now Ilkay Gundogan will wear Rafinha's former number, so that will be the number 22 jersey. Now, Barcelona will continue working on registering the contracts of the pending players, and as far as tomorrow's match against Getafe, Barcelona can register players up to 5 minutes before the match starts, and those players could still participate in that match. And of course, Barcelona have until the end of the summer transfer market, which closes on September 1st, to register all the contracts of the players, and any player that's not registered by that deadline will not be able to play the first half of the season. Now, speaking of tomorrow's match, Xavi Hernandez has given his pre-match press conference where he discussed several topics, and one of those topics was the players' registrations, where Xavi Hernandez said, "The club is working really well. We will try to register most of the players for tomorrow, and we are optimistic. I am 90% sure all players will be registered for tomorrow. I already know most of the starters for tomorrow. We were aware of this scenario. We've been calm and continued to work. It looks like we'll register most players for tomorrow." So it seems that Xavi Hernandez is not worried whatsoever, and as I reported previously, the club are also not worried, and they have transmitted total confidence that they will be able to register all the players on time. And of course, this is not surprising. After all, Barcelona is one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you could be assured that they have planned the summer transfer market months ahead of its beginning, so they already know exactly what they were going to be doing, what players they will sign, what players they will offload, how much money they will get, and how they'll be able to register the contract of these players. So there's absolutely nothing to worry about. I'm not worried. Xavi's not worried. The club are not worried. So you should definitely not be worried. Now, one statement that came out of Xavi that did worry me was his statements about Ansu Fati, when he said, "The market is open until August 31st. I am happy with Ansu. I don't know why people say I'm not. We'll see if he can stay. Anything can happen." So Xavi Hernandez transmitting to everyone that he is happy with Ansu Fati's progression, which confirms something that I reported about in a previous video, that the club and Xavi Hernandez are both happy with Ansu Fati's progression during this preseason, where he's looking more confident and that he's starting to recuperate his form from before his injuries. But what it does worry me that it seems that Xavi Hernandez is not fully closing the door on Ansu Fati leaving by saying that the market is still open until August 31st. Now, it's not clear whether this is Barcelona still considering offloading Ansu Fati, or whether it's Ansu Fati considering leaving, because as I reported previously, the player and his entourage are not too happy that the club are not completely putting their betting on them, or completely putting their trust in the player. So we're gonna have to wait and see what will happen. I personally hope that Ansu Fati stays in the club, but I would like to hear from you, so drop a comment down below. Now, speaking of the summer transfer market, it's reported that João Cancelo will become a Barcelona player by next week. And as I reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona have began negotiations with Manchester City for the signing of João Cancelo per Xavi's request, who wants to reinforce the right-back position with the Portuguese fullback. And today it's being reported that Barcelona and Manchester City have reached an agreement where Barcelona will sign João Cancelo on a one-season loan with an option to buy. Now, it's not clear what that option to buy will worth. There were some rumors saying that Barcelona will negotiate it for an option to buy worth around 40 to 50 million euros, which will be a little bit more acceptable for both clubs. Of course, it'd be lower than the 60 to 70 million euros that Manchester City won, but it would be more affordable for Barcelona next season. But we don't know those details yet, so we are going to have to wait until next week, which is when it's expected that the entire agreement will be finalized, because there's still several points that both clubs are still negotiating. Now, it's reported that Jorge Mendes has been working really hard to make this deal work. He wants to put João Cancelo in Barcelona, and of course Xavi Hernandez really wants João Cancelo to join the club, and it's even reported that the player is willing to reduce his salary, because that was one of the conditions that Barcelona imposed or put on the table, that if they were going to sign João Cancelo, he had to agree to reduce his salary in order to match Barcelona's financial reality. So for now, both clubs will continue negotiations, and it's reported that by next week everything will be finalized. So we should be expecting an official announcement by next week, announcing that João Cancelo is officially a Barcelona player. Now, as I said before, I personally prefer that Barcelona sign Ivan Fresneda, because he is 18 years old. So I would like Barcelona to make a bet or to bet on younger players, because they are, after all, building a new project. But nonetheless, the Joao Cancelo signing, of course, is not a bad one. He's still one of the best fullbacks in the world. He has plenty of experience at top flight football. And of course, he is in his prime years of his footballing career. So I really think that this will be a huge step up for Barcelona, especially since the club haven't been able to find any suitable right back since the departure of Dani Alves. So this signing is definitely good for Barcelona, especially on the European competition, at the European stage. But of course, I always love to hear from you. Do you think Barcelona are doing right by signing the Portuguese fullback? Drop a comment down below. Now we will end today's video with the news that Barcelona are very confident that they will be able to finalize the transfer of Lenglet to Tottenham Hotspur in the upcoming days. Now, as reported in yesterday's video, Lenglet has rejected offers from several European clubs and from Saudi Arabia because he has a personal agreement to join Tottenham Hotspur. However, the Premier League club has yet to make an acceptable offer for Barcelona, where Barcelona are looking to offload Lenglet for around 15 million euros, and where Tottenham Hotspur had only offered 5 million euros for the French defender. Now, I told you in yesterday's video that one of the reasons that Tottenham Hotspur have yet to finalize this signing is because they were looking to seal at least one exit in order to obtain the cash to sign the French player. And while the good news is that Tottenham Hotspur have offloaded Harry Kane to Bayern Munich, and with this money, it's reported that Tottenham Hotspur will be able to make 4 signings, with one of them being a left-footed center-back. And of course, that will be Lenglet, since Tottenham Hotspur have a personal agreement with the player to sign him during this summer transfer market. Well, now that Tottenham Hotspur have the cash in hand to make an offer, Barcelona are very confident that they will be able to seal the transfer of the French defender to the Premier League club. And this will be great news for the club, because Barcelona have been trying to offload Lenglet for quite some time. And now this will be possible. And this will not only remove a player that Xavi Hernandez does not count on, but it will also be removing a player who is one of the highest earners on the squad, freeing up a lot of space on Barcelona's wage bill. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.